What up everybody, Bonzo here, and today is the second installment of the Tower Tips series, and we're going to be discussing the wall. Before we jump into it, I am giving away a stone pack at 500 subscribers. How you enter to win that is simply comment on my last video, which is the upgrades to focus on when you get to Legends. Without further ado, let's get into the video. The wall is my favorite tower upgrade. I love EHP, I love defense. However, it is also a trap. And what I mean by that is you can unlock the wall at 500 million coins in the workshop. But you don't want to do that. It's intentionally a trap. The first upgrades in your wall are at least 30 billion. So if you're making 500 million a day, do not upgrade the wall. Just wait. Now, you want to upgrade the wall. This will be my first tip, is you want to upgrade the wall and unlock the wall when you are making at least, let's say, 150 billion a day. The reason why I want to do that, and this is going to go with number 2, the reason why you want to do that is because you want to permanently upgrade a few wall labs. This is the Tower Wiki. I'd absolutely recommend that you give this a look. You can plan out some upgrades around this. You are going to want to upgrade your wall regen permanently until you get it to 100%, in my opinion. Then once you get it to 100%, you can go looking between your actual health regen and your wall regen. And you'll see here, because I'll give you an example, wall regen for an extra 10% is going to be 8.5 days. But I can get 3% of health regen in about 2 days. So 3 of these health regen levels equals 1 of the wall regen. So for me, it's more beneficial just to get normal health regen. You can look at it the same way for health. Now, wall health, it's not as steep or important as wall regen. Because wall fortification, all that, it gets really juicy. But my first upgrade with, well, my first tip with the upgrades is keep wall regen permanently going until you get it to 100%. Then pick and choose between that and normal health regen. You're also going to want to get your wall thorns to at least 3 or 4%. Now, side note, if you do have sharp fortitude, I'd recommend getting it to 9%, because when you get this to 9%, with the 1% increase in subsequent damage, it'll be 9% damage the enemy will take, then 10, then 11, then 12, so on and so forth. Even with no damage coming from your tower, your enemies will be eliminated in 8 hits if you have 9% wall thorns with sharp fortitude. Now, if you're unlocking the wall, you're most likely doing some form of orb devo. So getting your wall thorns that high might not really be the best idea. So what I'd recommend for this, and third tip, is going to be testing your wall thorns percentage. Get it up 1%, because 1% is exponentially better than 0%. And test it out. Do a run or two and just see what might need to be tweaked. The cool thing about Devo and the wall is, with Devo, it's of course your wall stat or your tower stats. But with the wall, it's a separate entity. Yes, it does carry over defense, health regen, but it's multiplied by whatever the percentages are used for those. And so your normal thorn damage is not going to be truly applicable to your wall thorns. So because of that, it is going to throw a wrench in your orb devo strategy. So you'll just want to test that. Third tip is have 3 labs open when you unlock the wall. One lab is going to be between wall rebuild and wall health, and then wall invincibility. You'll kind of pick and choose between those. However, a second lab is going to be dedicated just to wall regen, and a third towards wall thorns. And these get pretty pricey. So you'll see 30 billion as the first level unlock. It's also 30 billion for wall regen. So what that means is if you've got decent lab speed and you're also like 2x boosting it with cells, you'll be able to get a few levels in these pretty much in the first day. Which if you're getting 2 levels of each, that's 70, say, billion. Wall thorns, that's another 70-ish or so billion. You're going to need about 140 or 150 billion, which is why I'd recommend having 140 or 150 billion when you start, because it'll let you afford the first few levels of wall upgrades. The wall is definitely a detriment when you first get it, because enemies will, say, form up around the wall. It won't eliminate them. And so because of that, when your black hole ends, your enemies will shotgun your tower. And if you have second wind, that'll pop. If you have energy shields, it'll get eviscerated. I don't use either, and I wouldn't recommend you use either when your wall gets to a certain point, just because then your wall is so much stronger than your tower that the second your wall gets eliminated, your tower is going to get eliminated anyways, even with energy shields. You want to be able to, don't rush the wall. You want to wait till you've got 3 lab slots open. Get your wall rebuild going between wall health, some wall invincibility, and then have 2 labs going, 1 for thorns, 1 for regen, and then kind of, just keep that going. You're going to notice an exponential increase in your econ, your coins. The wall is super strong. So just getting that tankier and tankier than your actual tower is going to mean that you can survive a lot longer and just massively increase your econ. And then, of course, your tournaments in champions and below. Regardless of what tournament you're in, what bracket, I would wait until you're making at least 100 to 150 billion a day before you unlock the wall. You don't want to rush it, because if you rush it, it's going to hurt your tower. Now, this is a little bit more for advanced players because they're so expensive, but your wall, you have to spend at least 50 trillion on defensive enhancements to unlock. This is way down the line for a lot of players. However, you can start getting wall fortification earlier. Wall fortification is arguably the strongest wall upgrade because each level is an additional 20% of health. So you'll see here, my normal health is 3.41 trillion. My tower health with the bonuses I get from the recovery make it 56 trillion. However, my wall health starts at 57 trillion and then goes all the way up to 427. And that's because my wall health is at 678%. But then I've got enhancements on it. I've got fortification, and with sharp fortitude, I've got 2.5x of both wall health and health regen. But yeah, that's pretty much it. For the wall, it's if you are doing a sort of Devo strategy, you're absolutely going to want to test out wall thorns. Getting your wall health, wall regen, that's all very good and important. You can keep those going, but you got to be careful upgrading your thorns. Now, if you're not doing Devo, I'd recommend permanently upgrading your thorns up to 8%. And it's 8% of whatever your total thorn damage is. And the reason why you want to get it to 9% is because then in 8 hits, not counting any tower damage, with sharp fortitude, you will eliminate 100% of enemy health. Now, I want to get mine to 18% because 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that equals 100%. However, getting it to at least 9% will mean that you effectively eliminate an enemy in 8 hits rather than like 9 or 10, which a 10% more survivability is going to go quite far in Champions League and below. Now, with this too, I know it can be very tempting to upgrade, but you don't want to upgrade this too soon. You don't want to unlock it. So just to recap, no matter what league you're in, wait till you're making at least, let's say 100 to 150 billion. You want to have 3 lab slots open for thorns, regen, and then the last one to rotate between your wall health, wall rebuild, and then also the invincibility. At least get a level or 2 in that. Third is for modules you want to be using sharp fortitude. Wormhole redirector is totally useless. A lot of other health modules are pretty much useless. You want sharp fortitude for the wall. And then lastly, you're going to be able to just start moving up quite high in whatever tier you're pushing, and you're going to see your tournament improvement is going up. So with that, once you get to a certain point with your labs, you're going to notice that it's actually more beneficial to upgrade normal health than it is for your health regen. This is also kind of factored in with your wall enhancements that you have, which are very pricey. So don't get too stuck on one wall upgrade. You don't want to just be stuck doing all wall regen all the way to 30. It's going to take forever, and you'll actually get a lot more bang for your buck doing normal regen. But yeah, that's it. Short, sweet, to the point. If I'm missing anything, please let me know. If you think there's anything that could be improved upon, of course, drop a like, comment, let me know with that. And if you've got any other ideas for tips to give in videos, of course, I'd be more than happy to make a video on that. So drop a comment with any ideas, and we'll be back for the next installment. Comment on my last video to enter into the Stone Pack giveaway. And I'm going live every Tuesday and Friday. So thanks all for watching, and I'll see you then. Peace.